Exactly 150 years after the completion of the Transcontinental Railway in the U.S., Rails to Trails Conservancy announced a plan to create a transcontinental rail trail. By the time of the announcement of the Great American Rail Trail in 2019, more than half of the trail had been completed by connecting 150 existing trails. Today, there are more than 2,000 miles ready to ride and over 1,600 miles yet to be connected. To raise awareness and financing for the completion of the GAR, a virtual cycling race was begun in 2020. Now in its fourth year, the race combines the fun of team cycling with the reality of modern-day constraints. Not everyone is able to jump on a bike and ride cross-country, but who doesn't want to imagine that ride while cycling wherever they happen to be? In the spring of 2023, wannabe cross-country cyclist Amy was planning a cross-country road trip in her van. She intended to ride as many rail trails as possible along the way when she read about the Great American Ride. Why not form a team, she thought, and get some mileage help and camaraderie along the way? As team members log their miles, the virtual race follows the Great American Rail Trail from Washington State to Washington, D.C. But why not flip the ride around, Amy thought. So as the virtual ride was progressing eastward, Amy would work her way westward. With a rough plan in mind, Amy sent out a plea to cycling friends near and far. Soon enough, a team, the SpokesPeople, was assembled. Cindy was the first to sign up and immediately began outfitting herself for the ride. She also signed on for the DC to Chicago leg of the road trip. Monique and Kevin, veterans of 2 actual cross-country rides, were game for a virtual and immediately jumped on their trainers to get in shape. Bob and Susan signed on and immediately caught the competitive spirit, posting impressive mileage on mountain roads. Krista agreed, needed a haircut, and immediately posted 1.8 miles to and from the salon. Krista later joined Amy for the Chicago to Denver leg of the road trip. Kim joined, but immediately wanted to know why his miles on the elliptical didn't count. He later joined Amy for the Denver to California leg of the road trip, where he rode an actual bike. Todd and Jenny were in, but initially faced obstacles: travel, weather, injuries, jobs, even a broken derailleur. Frank, triathlete and biker extraordinaire, faced his own challenges to find ride time. Although he didn't log double miles, we all thought that he deserved them. With the ride scheduled to run from April 1st to May 31st, it took the SpokesPeople nearly all of April to clock the first 1,000 miles of the 3,700-mile ride. A good portion of that early mileage was contributed on mountain roads in North Carolina and on indoor trainers in Montana. There were worries that the team might not be able to finish the ride on time. But with Amy, her van, and her bike heading west by the end of April, the mileage of the entire team increased rapidly. It took only 2 more weeks for the team to pass the 2,000-mile leg of the ride. So as Amy and crew rode through the Midwest and the Plain States, Mo and Kevin were riding in Utah, Todd was riding in Massachusetts, Susan and Bob were riding in North Carolina, and the remainder of the team rode close to home. 11 more days and the team surpassed 3,000 miles. The road trip made it to Colorado and Utah, departing from the Great American Rail Trail, but following another magnificent route to the West Coast. Here's a partial list of the trails the SpokesPeople rode during April and May, which doesn't include the many miles at national and state parks and on highways and backcountry roads. In the final week, the team posted their highest average daily mileage of the entire race. And as the van riders were reaching the Pacific Ocean in California, team members discovered the actual end of the GAR at the terminus of the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal in Washington, D.C. With 2 days to spare, the SpokesPeople reached their goal: 3,703 miles of actual and virtual riding on the Great American Rail Trail.